Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So third year has finally come to an end. Yeah, we're finished with exams, we're finished with our coursework, and I thought, why not let me do a whole review of the year. So we're going to go from the beginning, from first block all the way to the last block of the year, and I'm going to review how the year went for me personally. So obviously this video will be my experience. Every other student has their own experience, so I'll be talking about my own. We haven't received our results yet, so I don't exactly know how I did. My results should be coming out in the next couple of days, but apart from that, I'll just be reviewing you know, just how physiotherapy is in third year. Okay, so the structure of the video is going to be, first I'm going to explain how the third year courses are set up and how clinicals are done. I did explain all of this in the very first video I did on my channel. However, I'm just going to explain it one more time, just in case you didn't watch that video, or just for you to better understand this video. Secondly, I am going to go over each and every one of the clinical blocks from first block to sixth block and give my opinion of you know, what happened during the year, how I felt, and all of that. And the last thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to say what I felt was good about third year and what I felt was bad about third year. So those are the three main things that we'll be covering in this video. So I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I do hope that you stick around and manage to watch this video until the end. And if you are new on my channel, I do hope that you consider joining the family by clicking that subscribe button. And also guys, please remember to like this video. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So for the structure of physiotherapy in third year, we have first semester and second semester. First semester, the first 4 weeks, you're going to have lectures, theory based, you go over all the theory stuff, and then the rest of the semester you have clinicals that you attend every single day from 7:30 to 12 p.m. and then in the afternoon from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. you have lectures online. So that's basically how it is. That's first semester. Second semester, the exact same thing. So yes, you have a combination of practicals and you also have theory work in the afternoon. So the 4 weeks of theory lectures are going to be covering the theory work of physiotherapy. So the theory work of what you're going to be doing practically after the 4 weeks is over. After clinicals, I did mention that you have classes in the afternoon. Those classes in the afternoon are the other courses that you do on top of your clinical physiotherapy, on top of your physiotherapy main courses. So the other classes that you're going to be doing is research methodology, which is only in second semester. First semester and second semester you do medicine and surgery, and first semester and second semester you do pharmacology. So first semester, in the afternoons you have pharmacology and medicine and surgery, and then in second semester you have pharmacology, medicine and surgery, as well as research methodology. So second semester is a little bit more difficult than first semester, just because you have the addition of another course on top of the others. Okay, so my first block of clinical placement, I was placed at Telemachorane Hospital in Vosloorus, and I did my neurology block there. So for neurology, the type of patients that I mainly saw were stroke patients, and other students got to see traumatic brain injury patients. So I only saw stroke patients. So with stroke patients, the main thing in terms of like what you would observe with them would be hemiplegia. So one side of their body is not working. And it was quite interesting because this was my first placement, so it was the most difficult block out of all of the blocks, just because I had to interact with actual human beings, like face to face. In first year, second year, you don't interact with actual like people that you never met before. You interact with other students, you practice on other students. But now I was faced with the challenge of having to interact with an actual patient, and I was the one who was expected to give them the treatment. So I felt like in that in the beginning it was quite daunting and was quite difficult, and I felt like I didn't want to have to interact with the people. But the nice thing about the placements or the hospital that I was placed at was that we had such amazing supervisors. So it wasn't a thing of us just being pushed into the you know, being pushed into the deep end without any help. We had some really great supervisors who kind of held our hands and, you know, gently eased us into the whole process. And by the end of the 4 weeks, there was quite a bit of improvement. Looking back now, I don't feel like neurology would be something I'd go into, just because with stroke patients it does take quite a bit of time in terms of seeing results from your treatments, because their recovery is so slow. So when you have somebody who has half of their body that's not working, half of the body can either be like what we call spastic, so it's really stiff, or can be could have very low tone, where it's almost like it's just like it's limp, like limp. It's limp, right? Okay, so when I say limp, I mean like it's just like it's very weak. And now your job as a physio would now obviously be in terms of rehabilitation, so rehabilitating, improving muscle strength, getting them to become functional again. And it's a very, very slow process. So if you're somebody who's really good in terms of having a lot of patience, that could be something that you could possibly be into. But for me, I felt like, yeah, neurology was just a little bit slow for me. My second block, I was at public health in Alexandria. Basically public health, we did health talks every single day. The placement I went to, they were quite serious about their health talks. They made sure that we did those every single day. In fact, on the first day that we arrived, literally they gave us 10 minutes to prepare a health talk. We had never done any of this before, bear in mind. They gave us 10 minutes to prepare our information, what we wanted to say, and then they're like, okay guys, it's time to go. They took us to a nearby clinic. Okay, so Alexandria, what I'm saying is it's a health clinic in Alexandria. So we were there, that was our placement, but now to do the health talk, they took us to another nearby clinic, because what they would do is that they would do health talks at multiple different clinics, their own clinic as well as other clinics nearby. So that's where we went to a clinic that was nearby, and we were super unprepared for that, because I was not expecting to go and do a health talk on my first day. Like I said, we had never done a health talk before, so it was, looking back, it was quite like funny how bad we did. So we went there, you go to the clinic, you go into a waiting area, so you have a group of people waiting to do like whatever they do at the clinics, maybe waiting to get injections or waiting to go into the doctors or whatnot, and you stand in front of the group of people, and then you have to now start talking and educating them. So like health, public health is mainly education, so we would educate on things like stroke and hypertension and all that kind of stuff. Those were some of the topics that I did. So on the first day, I can't remember what we educated on, but we literally just stood there in front and held our papers and read straight from the papers, because like I said, they didn't give us enough time to prepare. So it was quite scary, but it did kind of like it forced us to build confidence quickly. So yeah, that was the first day, and from then on, like I said, health talks every single day. We did get some time to actually treat patients, so we also saw some neuro patients there. We saw pediatrics, so kids was quite difficult because I hadn't done peds yet, so I didn't know how to treat kids, but the supervisors were there to help us. They were there to assist with whatever questions we had and that kind of thing. So it was a good placement. It's just that I don't think I would do public health. Like public health is amazing in terms of the benefits that it brings to the communities. Like the communities respect people. When they see you in scrubs, they will respect you, and they're open. Like when you're trying to have a conversation with them, when you're doing your house work and you're talking and asking questions, they will interact with you. And I feel like if you have a personality like that, that you know, can allow you to easily conversate with people and to reach out to people, or if you have like this need to help others and educate, then public health, I would say that's the one for you. But for me, I can't do health talks every single day. Like my voice got so tired, and it requires quite a bit of energy for you to, quite a bit of energy and quite a bit of confidence for you to be able to stand in front of a crowd and just start talking, and you know, to grab people's attention. It's not an easy thing to do. One more thing I didn't mention is that public health is not only health talks. We also did home visits. We only went on one home visit. So you go to a house with people. So you go to someone's house, and then you go there, you do your assessment, you talk with them, whatnot, and then you treat them at their house. And it's almost like an outpatient version, but it's mostly for people who are unable to actually come to the clinic and get their treatment straight from there. So instead, you go to them, and then you go and check up on them, and then you do your treatment at their house. So it's like an outreach type of thing. So yeah, that's basically another thing that we did in public health. So the third block was pediatrics. Okay, so pediatrics, we went to a disability school in Fort Lawrence, and I think pediatrics must have been one of my favorite, either my favorite or my second favorite blocks of the entire year. The school that we went to, the kids were so well behaved, they were so disciplined, they were so sweet and friendly. The supervisor that we had, she was amazing. Yeah, like she was super amazing. And so for pediatrics, the conditions that you see are cerebral palsy. So we saw athetosis, we saw spastic cerebral palsy, we saw children with Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. I think that was one of the worst conditions for me to see, because with Duchenne's, a lot of the times, not a lot of the times, what happens is that the kid ends up passing away quite young because it's a condition that can't be cured, or it's what we say progressive, so it just gets worse and worse and worse, and the child deteriorates to the point where they end up passing away. So it was really sad to see kids with that kind of condition, knowing very well that this kid's condition is getting worse, and at some point they're unfortunately going to have to pass away. So CP, cerebral palsy, and Duchenne's, and we also saw kids with spina bifida. So yeah, so I think those are the three main that we saw. I may have forgotten something else, but I don't think so. So they had a physiotherapy department, the physiotherapy gym in the school, and then the kids would obviously have their classes there as well. So whenever we want to start physiotherapy, you have to kind of manage your time quite well, so that depending on the grade of the kid, they have different break times. So if you want to see a kid before they go on break, then you have to go to the class and speak with their teacher, and then take the kid to physiotherapy, do your physio for like your 45 minutes, and make sure the kid gets back, because they obviously still need to get their education. So with the teachers there, the teachers were always like, they were super nice. So if you wanted to collect a kid, there was like no problem, there was no issue. They would let you take the kid as long as you bring the kid back on time. Obviously there was also an issue of if the kid is doing tests or that kind of thing, then you'd obviously have to try and move your time around. But apart from all of that, pediatrics was really good. Pediatrics is quite difficult, I won't lie. It's just because we had such a great placement. I did hear about other students who really struggled because of the placement that they were at. Sometimes the supervisors weren't as helpful, sometimes the kids were quite difficult, you know. The kids may not have been well behaved, they may have been hard to treat, because you get kids that just cry a lot and just don't want you to touch them, they don't want you to do anything. So now you have to treat their kids, you have to figure out what to do. So yeah, that happened with other students and other placements. So there's that, and there's also the fact that there's so much information when it comes to pediatrics. It's such a complex topic, there is so much information that goes into it, and you're dealing with kids, so you have to know what you're doing. These are people's children, so you can't just go there and do whatever type, or do nonsense. You have to, you know what you're doing, know the condition, know your treatment, and just, you know, get the job done. So yeah, super fun, but there's a lot of information, it's a lot of work. Even when it came to theory work that we had to go through, there was a lot of theory work. So yeah, that was my pediatrics block. So after the third block, after my pediatrics block, we went on a semester break. So semester 1 was blocks 1, 2, 3, and then we had a semester break. Can't remember how long the break was, but all I know is that that break was much needed. So by the time I got into the third block, I was completely burnt out. The thing of going to clinicals every single day, I had to wake up super early in the morning. I was so tired, and then I had to rush home and attend my online lectures. Sometimes I'd have to stay on campus because by the time I got home, I would have missed my lectures. So either I would rush home and attend the online lectures, or stay on campus and have to attend those lectures. And then after that, you have to now also, you can't just like you have to come home and prepare for your next day at clinicals. You have to come home, look for articles based on your treatment plan. You have to look for articles for assessments. You have to do research in terms of what treatment you're going to give the kid the next day. You can't just come home, and you have to come home and actually prepare for the next day at placement. So you have supervisors that would ask you for articles, they would ask you for information, they ask you to go and do research. So you have to go home, do those things. You have to go home and do your assessment form. So whenever you treat a kid, you have to do an assessment for them. Most of the time they would require at least 2 assessment forms a week, so you do a whole assessment form for the kid. The assessment forms are very long, so it takes a long time. You do your assessment form for the kid, and you also do your POMS and your ICF. If you're in first year, second year, you know about the POMS and ICF. Yes, it follows you all the way. It follows you forever, and well, until you graduate at least. So yeah, you have to do those things, and those things would take long. And then obviously you have the other little things that happen in the block. So like I said, by the time I had finished my first semester, I was tired, I was exhausted, I just needed a break. And I was so happy that we had finally I'd finally gotten through the entire semester. So yeah, that's that. Okay, so moving on to my fourth block after our semester break. My fourth block was orthopedics at Helen Joseph Hospital. This was quite a chilled, relaxed block, to be honest with you, not very stressful. This block, whenever I'd go, like, it was so simple to the point where, like, you don't even have to go home and do any type of research. Like, it's straightforward. So what you do is, it's basically patients that have had fractures. So we only dealt with lower limb fractures. In terms of theory, you do deal with upper limb fractures, but for some reason at our placement, we only treated lower limb fractures. So your femur fractures, your tibia, fibula fractures, your ankle fractures, that kind of thing. So you go in, obviously somebody would be post-op, so they go in for their operation. Whenever they get like a nail or a screw put in to stabilize the bone, your job is to now mobilize the patient. So get them out of bed, get them moving, because obviously you don't want patients to stay in their bed for too long or else they develop a lot of other complications. So you would get them mobilizing with crutches. So every single day you're just giving everybody crutches. That's basically what it is. That's why I say it's so simple. Like, there's not much thinking that goes into giving somebody a crutch and teaching them how to walk with a crutch. Like, every day you're teaching someone how to walk with a crutch. It's the same thing over and over again. So you have fractures. You also saw hip replacements, knee replacements. So yeah, those, you will mostly see those with the older patients who need hip replacements. So you use the walker and get them out of the bed, help them walk with the actual walker. And yeah, very simple, very chilled, nice block. Then there weren't a lot of patients for us to see, so in a day I get to see like maybe 2 patients. Sometimes you get to help out other students because there's not enough patients. Like, it was so chilled, one of the most relaxed and stress-free blocks that I had been to. So moving on to block 5. Block 5 for me was what we call NMS, which is neuromusculoskeletal, or NMS outpatient. So this is outpatient department at physio. So people coming in to the departments with things like, okay, what did I see? I saw a lot of ankle fractures. So you go to, okay, let me explain the process of how it works. So you fracture your ankle, you go to a hospital, they stabilize the fracture, they do the operation. You have the physio, they come and mobilize you in the hospital and teaches you how to walk. And then after like 3 days, they discharge you from hospital with your crutches and whatnot, and you go home. And then you now start to attend outpatient physiotherapy. So now you start to come like every 2 weeks, which is now what I did in NMS in my block 5. I would start to see patients who had fractured their bones in the past and are now coming for physiotherapy outpatients. So they'd come in, get treatment, and then go back home. So yeah, that's how it is. So I see ankle fractures, I would see, we don't see back pain in 3rd year. We see osteoarthritis, tib fib fractures, femur fractures, the same things that you see in ortho. But now we'd also see upper limb things. Now we saw a lot of shoulder pain. And the problem with the shoulder now is that the shoulder is very complex. The shoulder was one of the things that a lot of students struggled with in terms of treating patients. And in physio, you can diagnose the patient. So a lot of times you will see patients coming in diagnosed by the doctor just to find out that they've been given the wrong diagnosis. So it's very important that you're aware of this. You know how to diagnose patients, you know what the signs are, and you're able to recognize whenever there's been a false diagnosis that was done, because obviously that would affect your treatment. If you're following the wrong diagnosis, then you're going to have the wrong treatment. So you go in there, you do your own assessment, you establish the diagnosis, and then you treat according to that. Now that would only be in things like, if it was a fracture, there's not really, you don't need to diagnose anything. It's a fracture, you know what it is. But in terms of someone coming in with like, oh, I have knee pain, I have shoulder pain, now you need to start thinking, is it ligaments, is it part of the bone, is it the muscle, like, is it a tendon? What is it exactly that's causing this pain? Because that's going to affect what my treatment for you is going to be. So in that sense, I'd say it's very, very complex. So yeah, moving on. I said shoulder pain, knee pain, that's basically that. if I'm forgetting something, I would say upper limb fractures. I'm not too sure if I mentioned that already. So basically the type of treatment that we would do we do a lot of heat therapy. So heat therapy was really great for osteoarthritis patients. Heat therapy was great for pain management. So we do heat therapy, and then we would also do, very important is exercise prescription. You can't be in physiotherapy if you don't prescribe exercises. So every single patient that comes in, they're going to get exercises. Okay. Sometimes you get patients who think they're coming in for a massage, they think they're coming in for a spa treatment, and it's like, no. Whenever I get a patient who would like ask specifically for massage, I would intentionally not give them a massage, and I would give them an exercise, because people don't like exercises. But you have to realize, you're not coming to physiotherapy. This is not a spa. You're not coming to physiotherapy for me to not give you a massage. No, if it's not indicated, I'm not going to give you that. So exercise is the best medicine, honestly. Like, exercise number one, and then you have all your other things that come afterwards. That was how they taught us at that placement. They really emphasized prescribing exercises for the patients. And whenever I see patients come back in like the next 2 weeks, I would actually see the improvements because they were doing their exercises. So that's to say that it's working, and that's what they need to be doing. And so yeah, so you do that kind of stuff, exercises, heat, you do massage, like if it was indicated, like I said, if they had edema, that kind of thing, you do the edema massage. And yeah, that's basically what it is. So outpatient, we saw a lot of patients a day. There were a lot of patients. I was struggling to finish, and I was struggling to keep up with the number of patients, but good thing was that we were 4 students at that placement. So if I was struggling, there would be other students that would maybe be coping a lot better, and they would help and help with the patient load. But yeah, you have to be quick at outpatient. You see patients in the beginning, they gave us 45 minutes, and then it had to drop to 30 minutes, where you have to see your patient 30 minutes out, get the next patient in. So it's a very, very quick thing. You can't be taking too long to be seeing patients, because like time is money. So yeah, you gotta be quick with it. All right guys, so we have come to the last block. Block 6 for me was cardio. So cardio respiratory physiotherapy at Barra. So a lot of the time you hear negative things about Barra, but I had a really enjoyable experience at Barra. Great supervisors, great in terms of, had great patients that I was given. Nothing too difficult there. I feel like if it's not PAEDS, then Barra must be my favorite block of the entire year. Definitely I learned so much. There were so many learning opportunities that were available there. So yeah, Barra was, Barra's a hospital that has a lot of students. You'll see a lot of students there, a lot of medical students, physio students. Yeah, so it's a place where people really go to get experience, to get education. But now that becomes a problem when you start to think in terms of like the patient. Sometimes I would think, like, is this patient getting the best treatment if, you know, it's only students that are seeing them? But then you do also realize that these students are being watched by their supervisors. So as much as there's a lot of students treating patients, these students are being watched by supervisors. So like us, we had our own physio supervisors who were close by, who were in the same wards with us, who would help us whatever we needed help with. So yeah, it was quite fun. So the patients that we saw in this block were patients that, well, they were trauma patients, so stab wounds, gunshot wounds. Yeah, so usually with your stab wounds and your gunshot wounds to the chest, you see pneumothoraxes and hemothoraxes. Now what this means, a pneumothorax is when someone has air in the intrapleural space, and with the hemothorax we have blood trapped in the intrapleural space. So whenever you have that type of condition, you would have the lung being compressed, because now we have air pressing on the lung, or we have blood pressing on the lung. So our job was now to come in and try to re-expand that lung, because now the lung has been squashed. We want to try and re-expand it so that the air is not coming in, the air is flowing nicely inside, and the patient is able to breathe properly. So you would see patients with an ICD drain, so they have a drain that they hold where you have blood, or the drain is taking blood out so that the lung is able to re-expand. So we see patients with ICDs, see patients that have gone for laparotomy, so where they go in and do a surgery in like the abdomen area for that. So I saw someone who had appendicitis who went for laparotomy. And then we also got to see medical patients, so with conditions like lung cancer. I saw also chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So yeah guys, with cardio it is a lot of repetitive stuff in terms of your assessments, you know, auscultation, assess chest expansion, that kind of thing. Very repetitive, but also I felt was very fun in terms of seeing such different conditions. So our job was to obviously, like I said, make sure the chest is good, make sure the patient is breathing well, make sure that lung is expanding, make sure that they're obviously that they're very functional, that they're able to get out of bed, that they're not losing muscle strength, they're not getting any secondary chest infections or complications. So the best way to do that is to get them mobilized, so get them out of the bed, get them walking, get them exercising. We put them on a stationary bicycle, so they sit on the bicycle and, you know, ride the bicycle to help with also the breathing. So when they take deeper breaths, it helps to increase airflow into the lungs and that kind of thing. Yeah, that was our job. So make sure patients are everything in terms of the chest, so make sure they're breathing well. Okay, I personally feel like I would go back to Barra and work there, maybe like in my maybe I would apply there for ComServe. So once I've graduated and I'm looking for a hospital to work in, I would probably place Barra as one of the hospitals, just because of the amazing experience that I had, because of the supervisors that we were given, and also because of the learning opportunities that were presented for us as students there. And it's also such a big hospital with so many different types of conditions. So I feel like right now I think I would place it. Who knows what's going to happen once I graduate? I might change my mind, but for now things are looking like Barra. It was definitely a great time there. Phew, okay, I think that was so long. Now we're going to move on to the third part of this video, which is going to be the goods and the bads of physiotherapy third year. Okay, so we're going to start off with the good things. All right, what I loved about being in third year of physiotherapy was the fact that we got to finish at 12 p.m. in the afternoon. Like, you don't understand how tiring it gets to just be standing from 7:30 to 12. I was super grateful for that, because I remember at one of the placements we'd be working closely with the other student nurses, and the student nurses, they finish at 7 p.m. at night, and I just felt so bad for them, because they would just be looking at us going home and I'd be there like, bye, you gotta stay until 7 p.m. like, I can't do that. Sorry, I want to go home and sleep and eat and enjoy myself. I don't want to be here until 7 p.m. But no, student nurses are, you know, they're strong to be working that many hours. So that's the first thing that I loved about third year, because fourth year I'm gonna have to work until 4 p.m. so the hours are much longer. So I will definitely miss that about this year. The second thing I loved about third year was being just understanding how broad physiotherapy really is, learning about the different areas where physiotherapy can actually help people and impact on people's lives, and learning that there's so many different ways of helping people. Like, I got the opportunity to experience every single specialty in physiotherapy. So obviously each and every block, it was a different side of physiotherapy that I got to experience, and it was super enjoyable for me to work in such different areas, in such different environments, and see such different types of conditions and different patients, as well as getting an opportunity to interact with people and different personalities. I felt like that was such an enjoyable experience, or such an enjoyable part of the experience. The third thing I would say I loved about this year was just seeing the smile on people's faces, seeing how grateful people were for just having you help them just to get up out of the bed, or to stand up, or to walk. These are such big things that we take for granted, you know, on a day-to-day basis. Me getting out of my bed, walking to the bathroom, it's nothing, you don't think about it. But for some people, they can't even do it by themselves, and they just need someone to be patient with them and to help them go slowly and step by step. And you get patients that will tell you, oh my gosh, thank you so much, I'm so grateful, you've helped me so much. So whenever you get someone tell you that, like, you just feel in your chest, you just feel so happy, and you just feel so proud that, you know, like, I have this job where I'm able to impact someone's life in such a positive way. So definitely loved that about this part of physio. And the last thing I would say I loved about this year was the exemptions that are available. So remember I did say that you do 3 other courses, medicine and surgery, pharmacology, and research methodology. So with research methodology and medicine and surgery, you have an opportunity to exempt the final exam. So that means that if you get at least 60% for your entire year, your mark, you can like you don't have to write the final exam. Yeah, that's super amazing. It takes a whole load off of your chest, not having to write an extra exam. So I just felt like that was great, that we had the opportunity to do that, because not all students have courses where they're able to not have to write the final exam. But with pharmacology, the third course, you do have to write the final exam no matter what your course is. So yeah, exemptions is really a great thing in third year. And now for the downside of third year. So all the things that I felt like were terrible about third year. Let's go from number one is the fact that we work for free. Yeah, no, I did not like that, because what we do is the same thing that qualified physios do. We do the same treatment, we do the same assessments, it's the same job. But obviously because we do this for experience, you know, we can't get paid and we basically work for free. So I mean, it's a downside because I would like to get some money, but at the same time I'm not qualified, and also I kind of need the experience, so we have to work for free. So that's it. Okay, secondly is that sometimes you do get very not nice or unfriendly and even unfair hospital supervisors. So there's nothing you can do to control the hospital supervisors that you have. If you put out a placement, you have to deal with the supervisors that are there. A lot of other students had really unhelpful, mean, rude supervisors. I've heard of students even crying because supervisors were so terrible. Yeah, it just really sucks that there's nothing that they can really do to change that, because obviously VITS needs us to get the experience, so they can't control who's hired and who's not. So sometimes you won't get the best people, but you gotta work with what you got, and you gotta try to remember that you're here to learn, you're here to get your experience. And after the 4 weeks is done, you're done with the block, so you can forget about that mean supervisor. But that is one of the downsides. Luckily my whole year I had amazing supervisors. Like, I had the most easy year compared to some of the things I've heard from other people. So yeah, the third thing I didn't like about the year was when it came to exams. I felt like everything was just squashed a lot of the times. They would squash multiple exams into a week, and for each of those exams there was quite a lot of content. There was heavy content that needed to be studied, and it's like, why are you squashing it into 1 week and then you're giving me like a 3-week holiday when you could have, you know, separated, or what's the word, you could have split up, you know, the days, so you have me write 2 exams this week and 1 exam next week. Sometimes I felt like it was a bit unnecessary for them to structure it that way, but I know this happens in like almost all degrees, where people are always just unhappy about the way the exams are structured, the way the timetable is, the way they squash exams together. I guess I can say it's a part of varsity life. Like, that's just a part of being at varsity. You're going to be under a lot of pressure because you have back-to-back exams. But personally, I would still put that down as something I didn't like. The fourth thing I would say I didn't like was the fact that we had theory classes in the afternoons. Yeah, I just felt like when we would finish at 12 and then you'd have to now run to campus and make sure you make the lecture. A lot of the times I found myself not even paying attention in the lecture because I was so exhausted, I was so tired. I just wanted to sleep, but now I have to be at this lecture because number one, I need to make sure that I'm being marked for attendance, because if I don't get marked for attendance, then it can impact my opportunity to be exempted for some of the courses. So it's like I have to be here because of attendance, but I'm not even paying attention. So like, what, I'm just wasting time basically. So whenever they would do the live lectures, it was quite of a problem, but then they did have a lot of lectures that were not live, so where you didn't have to actually be there at a certain time. You could maybe go home, take a nap, and then start watching the lectures later in the day. So for those classes where we had no live lectures, those were amazing because now I could manage my time how I needed to. But whenever we had live lectures, it was just horrible because I just couldn't pay attention because I'm so tired. And yeah, so I just didn't like that. And the last thing I would say that was a downside that I didn't like about this year was how early we had to wake up. Well, for me, I would say myself, I had to wake up quite early because I stay very far from campus, so I'd have to get to campus and then make it to catch the bus. If you miss the bus, then you might as well just go back home, really. So you have to make it to catch the bus and then get to the hospital. Sometimes hospitals would be very far from campus, so the drive would be 30 minutes, 40-minute drive, depending on how far you're going. so I had to wake up really early in the morning and make it to campus and get the bus and then go and start clinical. So I really didn't like that. It took me quite a while. It took quite a while for my body to adjust to that type of alarm clock of waking up so early. In the beginning of the year when I started clinicals, I really struggled to stay awake. I really struggled to stand for the hours that we needed to stand for at clinicals, because obviously in physio you're going to be standing up a lot, you're going to be lifting and transferring patients, so you have to be physically strong, and if you're sleepy and you feel like you can't stand for long, it's a problem. So yeah, it took me a while for my body to get used to the sleep schedule and get used to waking up early, and I did get the hang of it later on. But at the beginning of the year, like in my neuro block, my first block, I really struggled with that. I'd come home and just sleep for hours and then wake up later at night and then only start doing the work that I needed to do. So it just threw everything off, because now I'd be working at night into the early hours of the morning and then have to sleep 2 hours because I have to wake up early and then go back to campus and go back to the hospital and then do the whole thing over and over again. So it took a long time before I got used to it, but you get used to these things, I guess, eh? Okay, so this seems like it's really long already, like I've been yapping for a long time. I'm gonna go ahead and close the video over here and say that, guys, I really hope that this kind of gave you an idea of, you know, what you could experience and expect from your third year of physiotherapy. Obviously everybody has different experience. Some people it's going to be worse, some people it's going to be much better. What it also depends on is your approach to the situation, so the energy that you're going into the year with. If you're going into that year with positive energy, you know, you're going to be focused, you're going to work hard, you're going to do what needs to be done, then obviously you'll have a good year. If you go into there with negative energy, you're going to have a bad year. So just think about how you're going to approach the year. Make sure that you're prepared mentally, you're prepared in terms of you've got all your books and all your things in order. And it could be a really great year for you. Honestly, physiotherapy is great. It's an amazing career opportunity, and just be blessed that you are here where you are. So yeah, let me just close out the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in, for subscribing. If you've subscribed, I'm super grateful for that. If you've not liked this video yet, please take this opportunity, this moment right now, to go and click that thumbs up button. That would really help the video and help my channel. And do, you know, interact with me in the comment section. Leave a comment, you know, tell me something that you enjoyed from the video, what you want to see maybe in the future. How is your physiotherapy journey going? What year are you in? Are you interested in physiotherapy? Are you like not even interested in physiotherapy and just watching this video for the sake of watching it? Just let me know, you know, and I would love to talk with you guys there. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.